Hi, I'm Steffanie Rivers, and I want justice. The police officers involved showed reckless disregard. Hello and welcome to the video version of my journal. I'm Steffanie Rivers. Come on into the conversation. Welcome to the conversation. You're watching the video journal of my column, and it is multicasting on several platforms. You might find us on Facebook Live or Twitter or even LinkedIn or YouTube. On whatever platform you're watching, we want to welcome you to the conversation. And I want to give a special shout out to my new subscribers who are coming in by record numbers. In this past few days, we've had Logo JJ Nee join us as a subscriber. We've had Janet join us as a subscriber. We've had Big D, Sean Holmes, Gypsum Moon Rocks, Douglas Strawn, and Yesenia Quinones join us as subscribers. So we want to thank you for your support. I want to thank you for your support. If you are new to the conversation, we know that you're going to see something, hear something that you want to like, share, and subscribe so that when I post new videos, you will be the first to know. So what are we talking about today? Let me turn down this mood music so we can get serious for now. What we're talking about today is that we all know that law enforcement agencies across the country have become hiding places for some people who don't want to protect and serve, but rather want to bully, lie on, and kill people that they would rather purge from society. And since many law enforcement officers are able to hide behind qualified immunity, meaning that they can maim and kill people under the behind their badge and get away without prosecution, when cops are held accountable, I think it's important for us to acknowledge that and bring that to people's attention. So here's what we're going to start out with today. I don't know if you remember, but a few months ago in San Antonio, Texas, this police officer, his name is James Brenand. James Brenand of the San Antonio Police Department. He walked up to a car parked at a McDonald's parking lot this past summer and started shooting at the two teenagers seated in the vehicle eating burgers. James Brenand has been indicted on 2 counts of aggravated assault by a public servant and 1 count of attempted murder for shooting 17-year-old Eric Cantu. Eric and his teenage girlfriend were in the car when this bully and would-be killer cop used deadly force on them without provocation. So hopefully a jury will convict him and he'll be in prison soon enough. Eric, the teenager, was admitted to the hospital with life-threatening injuries for days before he finally recovered, and his family says he's out of danger right now. So we want to thank the people who were on the grand jury who indicted this police officer despite him being a cop, because a lot of times that's what keeps them from indicting them, thus qualified immunity. But if you watch the video, and they've got plenty of it out there, you will see within 10 seconds of him walking up to the vehicle, opening the door, he starts shooting, and then he lied on the police report and said he started shooting because they were trying to kill him with the car, which the video shows that is just not the case. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. But our focus today is going to be on the 5 New Haven, Connecticut police officers who had charges filed against them for reckless endangerment and cruelty for the way they handled Randy Cox during his arrest and detainment when he got to the jail. Now, I'll show you the video of what happened. It's about 3 or 4 minutes long. So that video is on, I'm getting it from attorney Ben Crump's Twitter feed. And so you can go there to find out more information, or you can do your own research. But essentially, last June, I think it was, Randy Cox of West Haven, Connecticut, he was stopped for, I don't know why he was stopped, but they said he was charged for illegal possession of a firearm. So there had to be another reason for them to stop him, for them to eventually find him, arrest him for illegal possession of a firearm. And in the midst of that, at the end of the day, Randy Cox ended up paralyzed and is now has to have 24-hour supervision. So let me show you that video and then we can discuss it. Let me bring it up for you. In the meantime, if you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. Let me back it up. So this is them arresting him. 8:35, he's in the back of the paddy wagon. 8:36, he's kicking and seated. And then something happened, like traffic. He's asking in the back for help. They pull over.
What happened?
About 10 minutes later, they pull over.
You fell. What happened? Can you move at all?
I can't move.
Well, how your leg is all the way up there?
Understand me, listen, brother.
All right, I can't move you, so I have to hold on. I'm gonna have to go get an ambulance.
Listen, no.
Huh?
Yes, but understand.
Go ahead.
I fall. I cannot move my arms.
All right, do not move. I can see moving your arm.
No.
Okay.
Look at my hand.
All right, hold on.
Help.
171.
111.
So he continues to drive.
The subject in the van, he said he fell inside the van and he can't move. So I'm on my way to detention right now. So please, can you start me signal 1 over there?
Cox, either we can move you or you can wait till Aaron with you.
So this is when he gets to the lockup, detention.
Slide down, man.
No, Jay.
Yo, slide down so you can get out of here.
Look, if you gotta drive me, let's cross over. Fuck what I like.
So he continues to tell them, I cannot move, and they continue to say,
Almost there. You're almost
just
there.
move,
Show
just
me.
move, just
One,
get up.
2, 3, stand up. There you go.
Get up.
Now you're making up. Ready? Actually, go look at that. Get there. Huh?
You ain't cracking. You just drink too much. No, you drink too much.
Now they're telling him that he's just drunk. There's nothing wrong with him.
I can't feel shit, bro.
Sit up.
Stop playing around.
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah, sit down. He's doing extra shit. Sit down.
They put him in a wheelchair. He can't sit up. They still insist upon cuffing him.
Sit up. What else did you have? Did you have to drop your alcohol?
Listen, no.
Yeah, fine. How much? Okay. How much you have to drink?
Oh, shit.
Oh my God, yeah, I'm fucking losing my heart.
They drag him in to lockup, even though he continues to tell them that he's hurt.
Hold on.
And then they go back in and put cuffs on his ankles when clearly he cannot move. So, who are these New Haven cops who, despite all the evidence, and they could clearly see that he couldn't move, they insisted upon not giving him, I think, a proper analysis of the problem. And I don't even know, it was never said whether or not the person driving the wagon even reported to them that he said he fell. Like proper communication channels were not used in my opinion, or if they were, nobody paid attention to it. Now, who are these cops? Let's take a look at who they are. So we have officers Oscar Diaz, Officer Ronald Presley, Officer Jocelyn Lavendier, and Luis Rivera, and Sergeant Betsy Seguy. These are the 5 police officers who have been charged in this case. They all have been on administrative leave, though, since it happened in June. So that means 6 months of paid leave for not doing their jobs correctly. Officer Diaz and Rivera are 2 Latino men. Officer Lavendier looks like she could be Latina, judging from her photo and name. Sergeant Seguy is a woman of color, and Officer Presley is a Black man. Now, I'm bringing that up because it seems to me that people of color who we might think would care about Randy Cox, because he could be their brother, father, their husband, their uncle. It could be someone someone in their family. That's why I would think they would care more about him. So, but clearly they show no concern. They drag him in the holding cell and prop him up against the wall like a rag doll. And they treated him basically like a Raggedy Andy doll. Remember in elementary school, at least when I was in elementary school, they had Raggedy Ann and Andy. They treated this dude like Raggedy Andy. And some of y'all too young to remember that. And to further disregard his condition, they go back in and put cuffs on his ankles when clearly he cannot move. So right now, the Cox family says that Randy requires 24 hours care at a rehab facility. And just to be more, what's the term? To make matters worse, they dropped the charges against Randy that they originally arrested him for. And that's the indication that they know they were wrong, that they know they didn't follow proper procedure. Oh, so now we're going to make it better by dropping the charges. This dude is paralyzed. Okay, so that's not going to make it better. So that is what's going on. Now, here's what I want to ask you. The charges against these cops are misdemeanor charges. They're not felony charges. So if they are convicted of dereliction of duty, then typically if you are convicted of a misdemeanor, that means you can only go to you can only be given no more than a year's time in jail. So, do we think that the cops in Randy Cox arrest should get felony charges? That's the question that I want to ask you today. And if yes, I mean, it's really up to you. But if it was you or your family in that situation, and the cops were only charged with dereliction of duty and only charged with a misdemeanor, would that be okay with you? That you now are paralyzed and they get to walk away, possibly with just a fine or no more than a year's in jail. So it's giving me Freddie Gray vibes in Baltimore, this whole case, except that Randy Cox didn't die from his injuries. If you remember in Freddie Gray's case, I think it was around 2015, same thing. He got arrested. They put him in the back of the wagon. There was some type of issue with driving. He fell. He was not, they did not follow proper procedure, the police officers, and Freddie Gray was paralyzed and he later died from his injuries. And there were lots of protests around the city and around the country because of that. And so Randy Cox has survived his injuries, but the neglect and failure to follow police protocol has left him paralyzed. So in Baltimore, the cops involved with Freddie Gray's death, they were indicted, and they were felony indictments because he died. But here's the thing, when it came time to go to trial, none of the police officers were convicted because jury members were afraid to convict them, in my opinion. And that's what a lot of people were saying. They were just afraid to convict a police officer. And even though the cops on trial in the Freddie Gray case admitted that they didn't follow police procedures, that could have kept Gray from getting injured. So clearly, if one of these 5 police officers in New Haven, Connecticut would have just followed up, just given the slightest bit of care and concern, maybe they could have kept Randy Cox's injuries from being as bad as they turned out to be. The quicker you get medical attention, the better it is in all instances. So allowing Randy Cox to sit there, I don't know for how long, at least hours before he was determined to be not faking, determined to be actually paralyzed, that could have made the difference in what is happening today. So if you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. Do you think that the cops in Randy Cox arrest should get felony charges? Because they are now charged with just misdemeanor charges. Either way, they have been charged. So that means they will have some type of judicial trial at some point. And these New Haven cops have there's a chance that they could get jail time up to a year, and that's normally how it works when it's a misdemeanor. And I think that if it was you, if you had done this to someone, do you think you would be charged with just a misdemeanor, or would you be charged with some type of reckless assault or something like that that could be considered to be a felony? I think they would have found out a way to charge you or me with a felony. But when it comes to police officers, they always try to find a way to get them off the hook. So we want these cops to get punished and get the punishment that they deserve for their dereliction of duty. So when we get cops arrested, charged, and indicted for unjustified acts against you or me, or people who look like us, or anybody for that matter, we have to do our jobs as members of the jury and convict them and send their asses to jail. And so that's what I want to happen. I want that if you or anybody you know is ever on a jury in cases like this, that you don't hold back, that you exercise your full assignment as a juror. And if the evidence shows that they did wrong and that they should be punished, that you convict them to jail or prison, or at least hold them to the highest level of punishment available to you in that case. We can't be afraid to do what justice says that should be done, because ain't nobody afraid to convict you or me. Why are we afraid to convict somebody who misused their trust, misused their authority? We should be more willing to hold those people accountable. We have to know our power as a juror and not just listen to a prosecutor who really, in some cases, doesn't even want the conviction, especially against cops, because they're all, supposed to be working on the same side. But then when you get a police officer that's convicted, then sometimes the prosecutors try to water down the charges like they're doing. They try to make a juror feel like, oh, you can only do this, or you can only wield this much punishment, when really that's not the case. So you can't depend on a prosecutor to give you all the information that you need. You need to be able to read and have your own information, and then ask questions. And I know they might tell you, don't go do your own research, only listen to this person, only listen to that person. And in the end, you end up not doing what you could have, should have, would have done in these cases. So sometimes prosecutors try to persuade jurors against the conviction, when really a conviction is what needs to happen. So you need to watch out for that. And if you know anyone in your family who is on a jury in this position, if you know anybody who lives in New Haven, Connecticut, and they might be in a position to be on a jury, give them a heads up on this, show them this video. And that's why I hope the stories diverge between Randy Cox and his police that are charged and hopefully indicted, and the cops in Freddie Gray's case that were charged and indicted. They didn't get convicted. We want these people to be convicted. So that's what I have for you today. When we are fortunate enough for police officers to be held accountable, we want them to be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law, because that's what they would do to us. So to find out more about the things that I care about, you can go to the written version of my journal. That's at eurweb.com. Thanks.